I'm Josh Dzime-Assison. I'm the CMO of Vendoo. Vendoo is a software for online resellers. So I can't wait to talk to you a little bit more about how we're diversifying the game for online reseller.
Hey, it's Kellen, and today on Diversified Game, you guys, I got dizzy on the show. I got Josh Dzime-Assison from Vendoo. He is going to give us the game. And, this brother just came back from Colombia the other day. So we're going to get the game on how he did his business, how he got the name Dizzy, as well as, this international game and if he has employees worldwide. So, Josh, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Man, people are going to say dizzy, like you got dizzy. Why would you say that? Man, just let the people know off top, because that's your name even on LinkedIn, how you got the name Dizzy. I would just want to start there.
Yeah, so Dizzy was a nickname that was given to me by some friends in high school. My last name, if you guys can see it, it's spelled DZI is how my last name starts. And a lot of them didn't know how to pronounce that at the time. So Dizzy just kind of stuck. And then over the years, it kind of it's a name that just kind of stuck with me. People liked it and started gravitating towards it. So I've been going with that for a while. Since I started, I guess, branding myself on social media and on the internet in the early 2000s, I just started running with Dizzy. That was kind of the name that I went with.
I love it. Now your last name is a little different. I have a hyphenated last name as well. That only me. My wife's last name ain't hyphenated, but I keep my hyphenated name. But where is those last names? Where are they from?
So my father's from Ghana in West Africa.
Okay. Yep. Ghana's in the house, so we got to talk Africa in this too. For my Ethiopian audience and my Kenyan audience, Uhaligani, awesome. All that. But give us the game on your company. Why did you create it, and what does it do?
Absolutely. So Vendoo is a software for online resellers. So I'll give you a little backstory beforehand. In about 2007, I opened a sneaker store here in the Maryland area. And I was big into sneaker culture. I was a reseller early on when people first started reselling items on the internet. Back then, I think eBay was probably the only online marketplace that was available for people to sell their items on. So people were using different forums. People were selling on MySpace and different places like that. And I opened a physical sneaker store. So I ran that for a little while. And after that recession hit, like 2008 or so, it started to get a little bit difficult to hold down a physical sneaker store. So I wanted to start selling my items online just to kind of increase my customer base. I wanted to have more people to sell to. I wanted to be able to sell more frequently and sell more quantity, because in the selling game, that's how you make money. You need to sell as many items as possible in as many different places as possible. So as I was running that business, what I realized is that being a one-man team, running a sales business like that, you need to be on top of a lot of things. You got to be on top of your inventory. So how many items are you selling, where you're getting it from, how much you're getting it for, all those type of numbers. Your items have to be visible in places where buyers can find them. You need to be able to get your items posted up on all these different places as easily as possible. And while running that business, I started running into all these different pain points of why I couldn't scale my business past a certain point. It was just me. There's 24 hours in the day, and I was trying to just do a lot of different things that was kind of spreading me thin. So a few years later, let's fast forward. I ran into Thomas Rivas, who's our CEO at Vendoo, and he came with an idea of a software that he was trying to create to solve some of these pain points for resellers. And when he was explaining it to me, it kind of everything he was telling me was hitting home with experiences that I was having in my personal business. And we kind of set off on a journey, the two of us and our two other co-founders, Chris and Ben, to figure out if there were other people out there that were trying to sell items online that were having these same problems, what exactly it was that they wanted us to build, how they wanted us to solve it. And we kind of landed on a technical solution to help these sellers streamline their businesses, basically save them time and make more money. So the concept that we landed on was cross-posting. And what cross-posting does is, if I want to sell this jacket on eBay, for instance, I got to take pictures of the jacket. I got to write the price, the condition, the color, the title, the size. They ask for all these different details in order to make an item listing online. And once I do that, the item's on eBay. But what we realized quickly was that all these marketplaces were now popping up, different places that people can buy and sell their items. So now there's marketplaces like Poshmark and Mercari and Depop. Some of these you might be familiar with, but there's numerous. Facebook Marketplace, Grailed, Tradesy, etc. And to be a successful reseller, you kind of want to have a presence on all of those different places because they're different customer audiences on every platform. So you want to have your item posted as many places as possible so that people can see it, you can sell it faster, make more money, etc. So we made a way to create an item listing on our software one time, and it puts it on all these different marketplaces for you, right? So that's our first value proposition. It saves them the time of having to manually create that item listing on all these different platforms. But then in addition to that, I realized I had about 700 items for sale in my personal inventory, and I had to track that somehow. So we included inventory management software in our program. So now you can track what items you have for sale, where it's listed, what day you bought it, how much you paid for it, how much profit you made once it sold, how much you paid for the shipping, all the different details that you need to stay on top of your numbers as a reseller, because in business, it's really important to have a grasp on your numbers. We included inventory management into our platform as well, because we knew that resellers needed that also. And then in addition to the cross posting and the inventory management, we also give sellers data and analytics about their business, so they can kind of see charts and graphs that show them how they've been performing on the different marketplaces that they sell on, which type of items are selling the best for them. But we give them any information they need to make decisions about how to increase and improve their selling business. And it's all in one place in one app, so that instead of having to be spread across all these different places, they can just use Vendoo to sell on 10 different platforms, organize their inventory in one place, and get those data and analytics. So we help sellers save time and make more money running a reselling business on the internet.
And that's what it's about. Now, I want to know, how difficult was it to be able to take your customers' items and then put it on these cross platforms? Because I assume that you're using some software, maybe some AI, but you have to have permission, because we've seen so many people kill the game in tech just to have a huge mega giant say, nope, we're not going to let you do that with your clientele. So did you have to go into eBay's office or, Etsy's office and say, hey, this is what we're doing, and we need this back portal that we're using for you guys not to block us off? Like, and can you, and did anybody say, okay, yeah. And did anybody say no too? So give us a game.
So just to clarify a little bit also, so when a seller signs up to use Vendoo, they log in, create a Vendoo account, and then within their Vendoo account, they can connect it to all of the active marketplace accounts that they have. So Vendoo can see that they're connected to this Poshmark account, this eBay account. So now when they create their listing on Vendoo, they can manually themselves send it to all the accounts that they have on those other marketplaces, right? But what we had to do was we spoke with a lot of different marketplaces, and websites have what's called an API. An API is kind of a portal that allows you to access how their website is built. It's like a doorway from our website to their website, right? And with websites with open APIs, we were able to just write some code to connect our software to theirs so that we can easily send information back and forth. And then some websites and companies don't publish their API. It's not available for everybody to access. So we had to speak with those companies, kind of get them familiar with what we were working on, and then ask for permission to send information or receive information from their website so that we can kind of streamline this process for our sellers. And that was difficult just because all these marketplaces are doing the same thing in theory. They're helping you sell an item. They're helping you as a buyer, they're helping you access a seller, but they do it all in different ways. So they all speak different languages. eBay might call one category one thing, and Poshmark might call it something else. So our technical solution, the genius in Vendoo, is that we were able to make all of those marketplaces communicate with each other to kind of simplify that process that a seller would have to decipher on their own. There's a lot of different intricacies between the different platforms. For example, like they might allow you to make a title on one that's 50 characters, and on another one you can have up to 99 characters. And then This platform might allow you to post 12 photos of your item, and this platform might only allow you to post 4. So because there's 9 different marketplaces that we currently offer, there's a lot of differences between them. And we were able to create like a master form to keep our users organized and make sure that they send the information that's required by each marketplace to have the strongest listing in each possible place.
I am glad that you broke it down like you did, because I wanted to set you up. I know you're into basketball and you can balance 2 balls at one time. You guys check out his YouTube if you don't know what I'm talking about. But I wanted to set it up where you explain that, because everybody's tech is different. But when trying to explain, sometimes with people at tech companies, you'd be surprised how much they don't know about their tech. So I wanted to set it up, that alley-oop, and you slam dunk that thing. So with that, and with the companies that may have, kept their API close to the chest, have you got any like victories to say, you know what, they're going to let us in, but they're going to wait till COVID is done? Or have people told you, no, we don't want, people like you to be able to benefit off of our $1 billion company? Like, have you found any of those hater companies or been able to break through those boundaries?
So there haven't really been any companies that have been standing in our way, but it took a little bit of time to warm up to us and actually see what value we were bringing to them before they decided that it was worthwhile in working with us to help us build Vendoo and make it a little bit easier. But what we've seen is over the past few months, marketplaces are starting to reach out to us, mainly just to see exactly how many listings we're bringing to their marketplace, because they realize that through Vendoo, there might be a seller, for example, who's huge on eBay, right? But it's never sold on Mercari before. So we have the opportunity to now bring that seller who just sells on eBay and turn them into a Mercari user. So now they might have 10,000 eBay listings, and now they're going to bring all those items over to Mercari, which then gives them the ability to make money off of the listing fees so when an item sells on one of these marketplaces, they take a small percentage as their fee. And when we're bringing new listings that they didn't have before, we're giving them a new stream of revenue that they didn't have access to. And we're bringing new users from other marketplaces onto their platform, which is a value that we provide to the marketplaces. So in addition to helping the sellers out and giving them the visibility to be posted on multiple places, we're also bringing the marketplaces sellers that they wouldn't have had and listings that they wouldn't have had to begin with. And once they realized that we were doing that at a high rate, they started opening up a little bit more to working with us.
Okay, no, that's beautiful. Now, how is OfferUp an option? I didn't see it when I was looking, but can folks go on Vendoo and then also have their stuff placed on OfferUp?
So we currently don't have OfferUp. Actually, recently OfferUp and Let Go merged, if you're familiar with that merger. Mm-hmm. But the business model for selling on that platform is slightly different than ours, because our sellers are all the marketplaces that we have are like shipment-based marketplaces where a seller would then sell an item and then ship their item out to the buyer. Whereas OfferUp does local transactions and local meetups, where it's a little bit different of a selling style. So we haven't been able to integrate that yet. We kind of started out, we've only been around a little over a year. So we've started off with the marketplaces that have all the similar value proposition first. And then eventually we'll move into the ones like OfferUp that are slightly different. Maybe we'll move into some consignment ones as well. And eventually to Amazon, which is the giant that everybody wants to see us working with.
Of course. And I say OfferUp because that's, you see deals, especially when it first came out. And now that they're doing shipping, because they've expanded and they're doing shipping. But I love to hear that, even the giants, you have them on your radar.
On our roadmap, definitely. So I do want to add, we don't have OfferUp, but we do have Facebook Marketplace. We just announced Facebook Marketplace recently, and Facebook Marketplace has been exploding because it's almost like Craigslist, OfferUp, Let Go, all combined, but on Facebook's platform. And we know Facebook is such a huge social media powerhouse. So they kind of created a marketplace on there that's been blowing up just because there's so many sellers, there's so many buyers, and there's just so many people browsing Facebook daily that it's becoming a huge marketplace out of nowhere. So we recently added Facebook Marketplace, and they have the opportunity to ship their items or do local meetups as well. So we do have that option on Vendoo.
Man, congratulations on that. When you first started this business, what was what did your inner circle, family, friends? I know you went to the University of Delaware. but were they, was it a connection from a school? Because usually family and friends don't get it. So they're usually not your first investors. So how did you begin? Are you an expert in coding? Are you like Idris Sandu, where you can do front end, back end, and art as well? Like, how did you, begin?
So I personally, I'm not technical. I just come from the fashion world. I've spent maybe the past 10, 12 years of my life working in the fashion world. So I worked as a full-time reseller, but also as like an image consultant and stylist for a lot of artists and athletes. So I had just a good grasp on the sales world and the reselling world. And then our CTO, Chris, is technical. So he had the skill set to build the front end, back end, and design our software up to a certain point before we started hiring. And he's still in charge of the vision of our software and how it works. Thomas, our CEO, came up with the idea and the concept, and he kind of drives the boat and makes sure that we're moving the roadmap in the right direction. And then Ben, who's our COO, he's kind of in charge of customer service and keeping everything organized and making sure that we're getting the right information from our users and processing that into what we build. So it was important that all of our team had different skills so that we were able to kind of move a little bit quicker. But to get back to your original question, when we first came up with the idea, it's only just that it's a good idea, right? Everybody has good ideas. Turning a good idea into something tangible is a really long, difficult, strenuous, confusing process. And it took us maybe 3 or 4 years of conversations, of working, of prototype softwares, of trial and error, of market research, to kind of get our idea off the ground or get it to the point where people were interested in investing in it or even interested in using it. But everybody identified that it was a good idea. It took us about 3 years after that good idea to get it somewhere where we were ready to put it in front of people's eyes and use it for the first time.
I love the grind and the journey, because a lot of times, we see on social media and people will say they have a business, how, great it's doing, because you never hear about the negative, but they make it seem like magic and that you guys put in the work beforehand. Now, have you yet to take angel or VC capital, or has it been bootstrapped from you guys' own pocket?
So for the first 3 years, we bootstrapped everything. We were traveling all over the country, going to reseller conventions and meetups, paying all the expenses out of our pocket. We were paying our early developers out of our pocket. We were just kind of bootstrapping it and all working secondary, like side hustles and things like that to sustain ourselves while we were pouring money into this. And then being in the entertainment industry for some years and building some relationships, I had a network of people that had access to capital. So we started making like investor pitches in our friends and family round in 2019. And someone that I was friends with was able to get us our initial investment that got us off the ground and helped us hire our first employees, our first technical employees, and kind of scale up the development team a little bit. And then in time, we were able to start paying ourselves a little bit later after that. But that's the only investment that we took. That was in 2019. We were quickly profitable after we launched because we had a working product. We had a waiting list of anxious users that we had kind of been cultivating for a few years before we launched. So once we hit the switch and we were ready to start charging, our revenue started ramping up pretty quickly, and we were able to stay kind of lean. Like we keep our expenses as low as possible while expanding our team and not digging too much into that investment money. And I think it's helped us to this point to grow quickly and not kind of be in debt or underwater. And I think that's been really helpful.
Okay, and you say it sounds like it was the investment sounds like it was from an angel more than a VC. So like a family friend, you say?
Exactly. Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that that relationship, you don't feel like, okay, it's not like it's Kevin from Shark Tank saying, hey, I need $1 off everybody who comes through, so you can take your time to pay it back, and they trust you. If I talk about Shark Tank, do you see your guys' self like going on Shark Tank in the future once you have, let's say whatever that number is for you, and we're doing business with Amazon, so we've proven the market and that the giants want to do business with us? Or do you say this is going to be our top and we don't need any more investment at this time? Because Shark Tank, they want a piece of your business. like all sharks, like all venture capitalists. So I'm just trying to see, like, is it something that we could maybe see on the stock market in the future for the people to invest in, or is it only for those qualified investors and maybe those top sharks?
So as far as having an IPO plan, I think it's a little bit early for that, just because we only initially launched in January 2020. So we just wrapped up our first full year of operation. At the moment, like I mentioned, we're profitable. So we're not looking for any capital at the moment, just because we're making more money monthly than we spend. So it's allowing us to grow at a very, very successful pace. However, I think in a few years, when we start to expand and we want to ramp up dramatically, we're going to probably need another cash infusion at a higher valuation. That might require us to take an angel investor or a VC or somebody that can contribute at that rate. But we're not sure at the moment. That's still a little bit further down on the roadmap.
Okay, no, this is great. This is great stuff. And sidebar, I lost you visually, but I can still hear you. I don't know if you can still see me.
So no, I can't see you, but I can hear you.
Okay, interesting. I just want to make sure my my phone isn't tripping. But if it is, I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna keep it rocking, and we'll keep moving.
Okay.
So with the success that you're having, and that the best is yet to come, what is a community give back that you are doing or that you want to do in the future? Okay.
So yeah, we've been doing a lot of community give backs and initiatives. We do a lot of things within the reseller community, campaigns and donations. Last year, we did a large Black Lives Matter donation campaign where we encouraged our resellers and our users to donate to any charity that they wanted, and we would match their donation to that same charity. And we raised $10,000 in a few days for that. We do community organized events. We do educational events where we have like webinars and conversations where we just educate users. All kinds of different programs. We donate to if there's any cause going on in the reseller community, or someone is sick or needs help with something, we contribute to those. So we try to be involved on the ground level in the reseller community as much as possible, because those sellers have been the ones who kind of helped us build the vision and the concept for Vendoo from the beginning, just based off their feedback and their communication with us. So it's important that we still contribute to everything that's going on within the community.
Oh, okay. I love that, and I love the. Thank you, Sam. I love that, and I love the give back, because you guys are young, and vibrant. Let me ask you a difficult question. I want to get the elephant out the room.
Okay.
And when people see you and you say you have this company and you come from the entertainment and the fashion, and they say, this Black man, he knows how to dress. Now he thinks he knows something about tech. Did you have to prove yourself in tech? Because we know tech has its own biases, like, every industry in the world, from here to Ghana.
Absolutely. So for me, making that transition from fashion into tech was just a learning experience. But one thing that our team has been really good at is we kind of know what we don't know. And we make sure that we put people in place, strong advisors, people that we can lean on for information. We ask a lot of questions. We have a great lawyer. There's a lot of people that we have to kind of refer to in different circumstances to kind of give us guidance before we make certain decisions, so that we can make sure that we're as educated as possible before we kind of encounter different challenges that we've never experienced before. So for me, it was just kind of a learning barrier coming from the fashion and entertainment industry, where it's just about the cool factor and what's the new popular, the thing that's in at the moment. And tech is very much more functional than that. It's about like, what's your idea? Like, what's the problem that it's solving, and does your solution work? It's just very, very, very tangible. Getting something from an idea to reality in the easiest way possible that provides value to someone else. So I had to kind of learn, brush up, study, get myself in the mind state to operate in this new world, because it's so different from the world that I was comfortable in. But luckily, we have a great team. Like I said, our CTO, Chris, has been in the tech world for over a decade. He's worked at large corporations. He's run companies where he's built softwares for other people. And he's brought that experience to us. So he guides us in those type of spaces. And then when it's time for legal decisions or financial decisions or things like that, we have a really great advisory board of people that we reach out to that kind of guide us, so that we're not just freestyling it and making this and just winging our decisions, because we take this really seriously and we want to make sure that we grow this to be as big as it can be. So we're really intentional about every decision that we make.
And you mentioned Amazon earlier. I'm going to talk about the Amazon of Africa, Jumia, which I bought stock when it was, failing. And people said, Kellen, you got to be crazy, out of your mind. And I said, nah, man, it's the Amazon of Africa. I've seen it. Like I've been in there. I see it. Do you see yourself, since you have ties to Ghana, allowing, people to sell on Jumia and sites that, for the continent? Because we know Africa is the now and the future. So have you made plans already to say, this is how we're going to expand to, Africa?
So at the moment, we've kind of been planning out our roadmap based on user feedback and like the constructive criticism and feedback that we get on social media and any place that we talk with other resellers. And what we've mainly been receiving at the moment is a lot of people want us to expand to Canada. And because we're kind of using our resources carefully, we're going to expand gradually. We haven't really discussed the continent of Africa yet, just because we don't know. And we don't have enough data and analytics to support the time it would take to build out that type of integration and that type of functionality for our software yet, because it's still really early in our process. We're still kind of sharpening up the things we have just domestically, and then we want to expand to Canada next, because we have a lot of data and a lot of requests from sellers in Canada who want to use that software. So that's kind of next on our radar towards the end of this year and early next year. And then as we see how that goes, we'll continue collecting data to see where we should expand to next. But that's definitely not out of the question. I think in our long-term vision, we would love to be selling internationally. We would love to have people being able to sell to any continent and access the largest marketplaces on any continent. I think that's our vision. Me as a seller, I ship items internationally, a few items per week, to all over the world. And I mean, it benefits my business greatly to be able to facilitate those kind of sales, to sell something to France one day and send something to Australia the next day and send something to Kenya the day after is great as a seller who's based in Maryland, to have customers in all of those places. So we would like our sellers that use Vendoo to have the same type of opportunity to sell globally. And that might just be something on our part that we have to figure out how to get our software to expand to all of those places. But that's definitely something that we want to look into in the future.
Man, I love your answers and the vibe. Very humbling vibe. This man might run for office, y'all. Don't be shocked. I know that you can, have more fun in business and you can have people criticizing you in office. But I love it. And, and I mentioned Africa because you guys remember in the beginning, he said his father is from Ghana, but he also had told me before we began that Colombia is where he just came from yesterday and in transit, and that he has employees there. Off air, he told me that. So I want to know, why employees in Colombia? Give us the game on why Colombia is the paradise that you decided to go to first to hire employees.
So after we launched Vendoo, our CEO ended up moving out there and loved it. And then while he was out there networking and working, we just started finding great developers, great marketing people, fluent in both English and Spanish. And we just figured we can make our team grow quickly if we hire in both places. Then we started doing that. And I think because the world was already moving towards remote work, it's really easy for us to wake up, get on video calls like we're doing right now, have our meetings, and it moves really smoothly and functionally to just we have a great team down there. We hired the best candidates wherever they are, and we met some really great people as our CEO was down there. So we were just recently in Colombia this past month, just working together as a team, because team chemistry and bonding and working together as a group is really important when you guys are building a a company or a vision together. So instead of just having video calls forever, we like sometimes we get together in person so that we can kind of get that team vibe and camaraderie of everybody being in the same place. And also just the speed of working together in one place is really helpful for a company that works remote full time. And Colombia is also beautiful. So it was just, it was working hard, but with a beautiful view.
Yes, and he means beautiful as a culture, because a lot of you want to go and hear about the chicas, and the world is bigger than that. You know, it's more than you can make money and enjoy yourself and be treated with that dignity that maybe you don't get at home. But when you expand to a place like Colombia and you have this international appeal, I just, for you, are you teaching this? Like, do you have courses on this? Do you have a book planned out? Because you can teach, folks coming out of prison, or even that middle schooler who maybe doesn't understand that they don't learn like everyone else, but they can hustle like nobody else. Do you have any, website or any opportunity where people can tap into you and say, teach me how to do this?
So to be completely honest with you, I'm learning as I go. Our founders are learning as we go, right? It's a learning experience every day. It would be very naive of me to think I knew what was coming up on the horizon. We're all first-time founders. I've done business in other capacities, but like you said before, nothing in the tech space. So the decisions that I encounter daily are new ones for me, and ones that I feel like I'm kind of acclimating myself to as I experience them. So I don't feel like I'm comfortable or in the position yet to teach that. But what we do teach is how people can get started in reselling, which has a really, really low barrier of entry and just a huge gateway to financial freedom, just because it's so easy to go to a thrift store or something and buy a few items for $5 or $10 and then post those items up, make $100 and then go back and do it again. So we do a lot of educational content on how somebody can start reselling or selling items online as a secondary source of income. And we've seen that that's turned from people's secondary source of income to their primary source of income especially during COVID, when people were locked down in their homes, weren't working their regular jobs, couldn't really go many places. We kind of offered a way for them to generate revenue for themselves from their house. They can even clean out their closets and say, I don't wear this anymore, let me put this up for sale. And once people start realizing that they can generate revenue quickly, just sitting at home or using a simple software, it kind of opens your minds to what's possible as far as making money while you're asleep. So our main education right now is to educate people in the reselling space. But I think eventually, as Vendoo continues to grow and maybe God willing, we become more and more successful, we can kind of start to mentor some people also in the business field as well.
All right. You guys have the links in the description box. This man is knowledgeable. He's humble. He's also a reader. He likes, everybody mentions 4-Hour Work Week, but he likes Tim Ferriss's Tool of Titans. He's a fan of Gary Vee's work and Malcolm Gladwell. So you got to read these things that people who are able to start and sustain, and he won't say it, but I'm going to say succeed, because the best is yet to come. And I love it. I love to get this game. And I love to get it so much. You guys know I'm going to take it off air, because, I want to tap in and say 2 words that aren't yet to be public. So I appreciate you for coming on, Josh. Let's take this off air. You guys make sure you like, share, and subscribe.
Thanks so much for having me.